Hello viewers and welcome to another great episode of She Power right here on WTV Kenya. I'm your host Linda Kruger. Now remember, this is the show where we celebrate all things women. Today on set I have a great guest, very wonderful, interactive, Tazim Elkington. Welcome to She Power.
Thank you.
Oh, I have a bit of an introduction here, but I would want you to give us your introduction and nice, beautiful things in a basket that you have going on.
About myself?
Oh, yes.
Oh my goodness. People say you're supposed to have a 60 seconds elevator spiel.
Yes.
Can't do it because I have such an array of stuff that I do. So, what do you want to know? That would be easier.
Let's start off with, the black Indian butterfly. Why do you call yourself that?
Okay, so the Indian black butterfly. The Indian black butterfly, because I think Indian because I was born in India. Black because I was born on this continent. And butterfly because it is the greatest symbol of transformation and freedom. And that's how we strung the words together.
Oh yeah, that's wonderful. Now, amongst your many things, you can't really classify what you do. You're a motivational speaker. You also work with teams and training. Then there's the whole hypnotherapy going on. I mean, what can we call you?
Just a human being. Just a human being, a woman. Yes, I have learned to package a lot of different products. So I do a lot of work with leadership and management teams. I do a lot of work on creating new culture. I also, my baseline, my foundation on all the work I do is based on a strong, well understood value base. Okay. We don't have a very definitive value base in Kenya, as we know.
Yes.
Because if we did, we wouldn't have 65% of our population living in the conditions they do.
Yes.
So before I became a hypnotherapist, I was already doing sessions, one-on-one sessions, couple sessions, family sessions. So now what I've done is it's a fantastic tool. I've integrated that into the talk therapy I do already. And the combination, the results are amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So what basically happens in a hypnotherapy session?
Before actually getting into the hypnotherapy, I have a whole process so that I understand what the person is coming to me for, what their issues are. Now, whatever the issues are always symptoms. So, someone comes to me and says, I feel very lonely, or I feel very sad, or I feel I don't have confidence. These are all symptoms, okay? So what I do is I go deeper and deeper and deeper to where I think the root cause will be. So when I do the talk therapy, it's talking to the conscious mind, so that the conscious mind starts to think, because our conscious mind doesn't like change and doesn't like to be challenged.
Oh yeah.
Right? So I engage the conscious mind with the talk therapy, and then I go into the subconscious mind. And how does one go into hypnosis? It's such an easy process. There are various types of inductions. If someone is very analytical and very intellectual, then there's separate induction for these kind of people, because they don't like to lose control. You were saying a little bit earlier, you don't like to lose control, so we would have to use that kind of induction for you. But most people, and people like that are called emos. They're more emotional. But that doesn't mean they're more emotional. It's actually the reverse. And then the physicals, like I'd be a physical, okay?
Yeah.
And there's a difference. It's quite in depth to explain that, emos and physicals. And so the physicals, it's a matter of just lying down and the induction, and they're gone. And I can, so it's what we call, what we call the theory of the mind. And we have the conscious mind and we have the subconscious mind, and in between we have critical filters for the subconscious and the conscious mind. So when we do the induction, we put the conscious mind to sleep, and through the critical filters we access the subconscious mind, which is where all the programs are running. So if we
That's
look
where
at it,
all the dirt, all the emotion.
all that stuff. I think this about me, I believe this about me, I believe this about the world, I believe this about that, the people, I believe this about this tribe, I believe this about that religion. All that stuff's going on. It's very much like a computer system, right? So the hard drive
is all up.
Are where all the programs are running, and those programs have been created through conditioning, socialization, experiences, and this is what is stored in that memory bank. And so we go in there and we get to start reprogramming. We start to deprogram and reprogram. You know, a lot of people talk about unlearning. So this is like unlearning at the deepest level.
So what happens when, let's say, for example, I come to you and, we have a whole hypno session, and there's a particular thing that I want to change. How do I get to see the effects and the results thereafter?
So these quick fixes that everybody likes, even in corporations and organizations.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do a team building. 2 days, 3 days, everyone goes out, does their thing, pull rope, climb stones, whatever, group hug at the end of it, come back to their desk, and it's done. Team building is a quick fix, and it doesn't work.
Okay.
It actually doesn't work because you cannot have the long-term effects. This is why the work I do with organizations, I say to them, I'm not here for quick fixes. If you want to work with me, it's a process. And it's going to take time. It's the same with hypnotherapy. You're not going to come for one hypno session and think that you're fixed of your 30, 40, 50, 60 years of conditioning.
Imagine.
I mean, really, you've got to be out of your mind to believe that.
It's impossible.
So it's about having X number of sessions from 8 to 12 to 15, depending, all right? Based on the fact that there is the combination of the talk therapy and the hypnotherapy. I'm also pretty tough when it comes to getting people to start changing their behavior and their attitude. Okay, so behavior and attitude comes from baseline of storage in the subconscious mind. We behave like this because that's what we think we should be doing, right? So when we start getting into, what is the belief, or what are the beliefs that make you believe that this is how you should behave, this is how you should, this is what you think is okay for you, and it's making you miserable. Okay, so for example, if someone has an addiction, drinking, alcohol, you know that when you drink alcohol and you exceed your limit, you're going to start behaving like a person under
The influence.
Yes. So when you're under the influence, you're going to be doing things that you particularly don't like when you wake up in the morning. When you suddenly realize, oh my God, there's someone in my bed, how did they get there?
Oh,
or you had a fight with someone, or you had an accident, or you didn't know how to get back home. I mean, there's a lot of stuff when it comes to alcohol and how people behave. Then I gather we have a huge number of people that take a lot of drugs. I mean, Kenya's, for me, this is always shocking. The amount of drugs that are accessible, Coke, for example, weed. I mean, the accessibility, especially for something like Coke and heroin, for me is shocking.
Yes, it is.
And what that does, if you're in a family, if you're in a relationship, if you're the child of someone, and by child I don't mean you're a kid, But you imagine if you're living at home and you're in your 20s and you have an addiction, you don't know what you're doing to your parents. So why did the addiction come about, right?
Yeah, the root cause.
The root cause. And the root cause could be so many different things, so we get to that. So the thing is, how you measure is by the fact that you start changing. By the time I'm done with a client, and there's feedback every week after every session, so I'm very, very tight on the process. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So they have to give me feedback. I give them homework to do, as in they have to start shifting their behavior. So I start to make them aware of this, and they start to see the changes. And the changes are from the inside out and from the outside in. So I do a dual combination, not just from the inside out, but also from the outside in. So the behavior, the attitude, starting to be aware, like the people who just talk a lot, and they don't know how to listen.
Oh, yeah.
So then I start to teach them how to start listening. So this is from the outside in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing process. I mean, many of the viewers watching probably had no idea the impact hypnotherapy can actually have on a person.
Yes.
That's really great. Now, you also work with organizations.
Yes.
and a bunch of wonderful recommendations that I have seen. And
Thank
maybe you
you.
can tell us about that. What exactly do you do when you get into an organization and you're trying to improve their relations within?
So first of all, for all of you that that are watching, issues in an organization always start at the top. Okay, so when the leadership, top management of any organization, if they have issues amongst themselves, if they have issues within themselves, and they all do.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, they all do. We know that.
Yes, we do.
These issues are going to trickle
Down.
And so what I say to any organization as I walk into the door, if we're going to work together, we're going to start at the top. Okay, this is where all the issues rest. And the issues are with every single individual. So every single individual has different issues.
Yes, they do.
And what happens in organization is everybody's trying to hide their weaknesses, their gaps, their negative authority, their jealousies, their negative competition, their communication is one of the biggest issues in every organization.
Indeed.
Because people don't communicate. People are people don't like to share. People are not open. So now if each person has a set of different issues, all these issues, when you put them on the table, put them all in a group in one room, put them on the table and say, these are all your issues. You have this issue, you have this issue, you have this issues. And what we need to do is all these issues are affecting bottom line profits.
Yes, they are.
Right? So how do we help each person to overcome these things? So what I do in talk therapy, I take it to the group level now, which gets to be very, very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Delivery, performance, affect what kind of environment people are working in that organization. Because most of the organizations are just unhealthy. I can't imagine having to work for an organization because I think I'd get physically sick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's so unhealthy. You know, all these jealousies and incompetencies and authority, negative authority, how bosses speak to their staff, and the inequity, the inequality, you know. I think there's still a lot of gender stuff going on in these environments.
They most definitely.
So I work on all these aspects of an organization. And the funny thing is that, you know, a lot of people who are resistant at the beginning by the end of the process, it's surprising to see how many shift. And those that were, oh yeah, we need this, totally go the other way. So I never know what I'm going to end up with.
It's a wild card.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, amazing, amazing. As we wind up this first part of our discussion, maybe you can share with us an experience that you've had. We talk all positive, but has there been one, you've gotten into an organization and it was too far gone?
Yeah, I've had organizations where, people that thought that someone was a complete A star.
Complete opposite. Wow, amazing.
Because it's all the blah blah they do here, right?
Yes.
But inside, and they weren't even doing the work.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. We all know somebody like that.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. I like that. I mean, you're calling out the realness in people, and that's amazing. We are now taking a short break. Ladies and gentlemen, keep it She Power right here on WTV Kenya. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to She Power, where we celebrate all things women. For those of you who are just joining us today, I have the wonderful, charismatic Tazim Elkington with me on set.
Thank you.
Welcome back. We're having a ball. I hope you are too.
Yes.
Let's get back into the discussion. Let's talk about, finish up on the discussion on organizations. How important is it to have a sort of synergy going on in terms of relations between what you call the top and the employees? I mean, we've seen a lot of distinction in very many companies, both big and even smallholder companies. How important is it to have that synergy going on?
Well, let me backtrack a little bit and look at a regular day. When one is employed, they're spending more hours in the office than they're spending with their family, at home, with their friends, in other activities.
Yeah.
So the major part of any person's day is spent in a work environment if they're employed.
That is true.
If your 8 or 9 hour day at the office or at a space of work is your major part, then isn't it so important that you're happy to wake up in the morning to go to work? Isn't it happy that when you walk into that space that you're able to communicate with people?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think most people are. I think they go to work because they...
You have bills.
You have to pay the bills.
Oh, yeah.
You have to earn money. So we're still in that very old system, right? And we need to fast forward into the 21st century. And fast forwarding into this 21st century, it's not about how the colonial system used to operate, with the god sitting on the throne and everybody down there, and then the middle gods. So looking down on all the others, it's out of date.
Yes, it is.
It's completely not possible to have that kind of behavior, that kind of organization anymore, because you are really not progressive. That means you're living in the dark ages, you're regressive, you don't give people equal opportunity. Okay?
Yeah.
And if you're not giving equal opportunity, that means you really have gender issues, you have all types of issues in that space, right?
Oh, yeah.
So for me, it's always been very important that every human being is treated well. You treat your employees well, your profits will come. And so, of course, it's very important to have the synergy.
Yes, it is.
So I talk about organizations creating more circular structures. We cannot completely break the hierarchies that we have.
Yeah.
But at least if we start to create circular structures where it isn't the pyramid anymore, because the pyramid is dead. It's out of date.
It's out of date.
So yes, I really feel it's important.
Yeah.
I really feel it's important to say thank you and please to the tea lady or the tea guy. I think it's really important to say thank you and please to the guy who polishes your shoes. What I don't understand is why people don't do it. We've really become mannerless as Kenyans.
Oh, yes.
It's terrible.
Selfish, mannerless, all of it.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we're having a very difficult sort of environment, both outside with our relations and even in companies and organizations. Now, Tazim, you are pushing people to think outside of the box, in quotes, in different situations. Tell us a bit about your event, Open Corner.
Open Corner is a monthly event, actually. It's on its 8th year now.
Wow, it's been there for 8 years.
Yeah, so 7 years. Let's say we've completed 7 years. And it started as an idea in Toronto while I was still living in Canada. And at that point, I called it the Invisible Circle. And it was just an idea that came to me while I was meditating. And it was like, okay, you need to do something completely different. Something that is not programmed, that doesn't have a process or, you know, a schedule and a topic. I thought, okay, so how am I going to do it? And the easiest thing was to get people to come, you know, together, write a topic or write a question, put it in a bowl, and then we'd pick one and we'd have a random discussion.
Amazing.
So it's worked really, really well for the last 7 years. But the last couple of months, I've been asking myself if I still want to carry on. So, interesting question that you asked. Do I want to carry on with Open Corner? Has it done its time? I'm still not sure. So I've taken a break. I didn't do an Open Corner in September. No, in August. I didn't do one I'm not going to do the September one. I don't want to do the October one because I have a client from out of the country who's coming to work with me on leadership.
Amazing.
So I have clients coming from different places, and they either take a block of a couple of days, or generally if they're coming from outside, it's a couple of days. So I do a fast track program called, it's just a fast track program. I haven't named it yet. But they spend 4 or 5 days with me. So I'm not going to do it in October, and then I'm going to see what happens in November and how it unfolds in November is going to make me make the decision whether I want to carry on with Open Corner in 2017 or not.
Wow, difficult questions. What has been your feedback? You know, it's 7 years running, and, you know, getting different people, different characters come into these sessions, and the different statements, questions, and topics that are submitted. What's your general perception on you know, the Kenyan society per se?
What would I say about the people that have attended Open Corner in 7 years? I would say that they are all progressive people. I will not have someone who is overly religious. I will not have someone who is overly fundamentalistic on anything. I will not have anyone who is living in the old ways of thinking coming. So people who come to Open Corner are progressive, are open, they want to learn something new, they want to share ideas with people who are open as well. And so the feedback has been amazing because it's really, you know, every time we have the group coming together, and it's people from all walks of life, all ages, all different types of people, and every month has been a different group. Okay, so the energy is different, the discussions are different, the topic is different, and it's always fun for me. It's really my fun night out. And so it's all I can say is it's been a fantastic experience for me. And the feedback I've had is everyone that leaves Open Corner, not everyone, I'll say 90%
majority
that leave Open Corner are happy.
There
are people who've come and gotten pissed off. Because it's pushed a button, touched a belief that they disagree with. So that happens as well.
Yes, it does. And that's progress for me.
Hey.
Wonderful, Tazim. Now, we're about to go into that segment where we have a lot of fun with our guests. It's called the
Okay.
She Fun Facts. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's get started. Tazim Elkington, the beautiful black Indian butterfly. Yes. What is your first impression of me?
Of you?
Yes.
I think you're such a sweetie. you're really lovely. And you're real.
All right. We're not just saying that for the cameras.
Do I look like the type who would say anything for the cameras
No.
or off?
No.
There you go.
Wonderful. So, what's the first thing you do when you wake up every single day?
Meditate.
You meditate.
I have a meditation practice that I've been doing since I was, 25 years now.
Wow. That's
So
long.
it started with a 20-minute meditation in the morning and in the evening, and then I did the advanced course, and so I meditate for an hour and 15 minutes in the morning and again in the evening.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Very, very deep.
Yep.
So, what is your favorite dance style, and can you show it to us?
No. Because I stopped dancing or was going to spaces with the loud music and the dancing a few years ago, more than a few years ago.
Okay. But what's that song that you...
Oh,
yeah.
I love Shakira. I like rap. I like pop.
Very interesting.
But I'm also not someone that likes loud music.
Yeah.
So I've changed a lot in my habits as well. I did all that stuff when I was younger. Now it's quiet. In fact, it's interesting because my wonderful housekeeper suddenly asked me the other day, she says, "Mum, don't you like music?" So I said, "Why?" She says, "You don't have a system. You don't have a radio."
Yeah.
I said, "I'm not even connected on TV.
Good.
As in, I don't have a DSTV or I don't have any, access."
Yeah.
So she says, "How come?" I said, "Because I don't like noise. There's enough noise."
Around
Yes.
you. Oh, yeah. Now tell us, what is your outlook on life in 6 words?
6 words.
Yes.
Life is a gift. Enjoy it.
Just that.
Just that.
I love that. Life is a gift. Enjoy it.
Yes, life is a gift. Enjoy it. I got it in 6 words.
Yes,
there we
you
go.
did. I like that. And now for the favorite part, we do a tongue twister. Are you ready? 3 times. Here we go.
6 socks. Sit in a sink, soaking in soap suds. 6 socks. Sit in a sink, soaking in soap suds. 6 socks. Sit in a sink, soaking in soap suds.
Oh, flawless.
You didn't do the
Seashells on the seashore. That is lovely, Tazim.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on She Power and for sharing all this lovely, lovely info with us. We celebrate you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching She Power. I've been hosting Tazim Elkington, the beautiful black Indian butterfly. As you've seen, she's a bevy of very many things. And if you want to catch up with her, hit us up on our social media. We'll share hers too. Remember, this is the show where we celebrate all things women. Keep it right here, same time, same place on WTV Kenya.